Hello and welcome to the Horror House Podcast. I'm Dave.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Tim.
And we are four guys that will talk about horror sometimes. And tonight,
French fries.
It's so chilly.
we're going to talk about snow, men. And this is Dave's pick for the week. So,
Guilty as charged.
Dave, give us the box, the VHS, the back of the VHS.
What a coincidence. A maniac killer who happens to be named Jack Frost gets doused with dangerous, uncontrolled, unregistered government chemicals and becomes a killer snowman. It's just a strange coincidence that the maniac killer's name is Jack Frost, gets doused with chemicals, becomes a killer snowman, goes after the sheriff that arrested him, when in the whole time, all he had to do was wait for the sheriff's own kid to murder him and revenge is sealed.
And that would have been honestly a fucking sweet kill. Yeah.
He could have still gone to the town. He could have still gone to the town that I just happened to be called Snowmanton.
Snowmanton. Yeah, I want to live there. By the way, the snowman, this is not what he looks like.
No.
At all.
No.
Not even a fucking little bit.
Nope.
We're just going to have to...
Nope. You have to imagine.
Yeah. I imagine. Actually, I would say that the movie Snowman is more sinister and unsettling than what you see here. In my opinion. The angry eyebrows and like the fucking the smiley face, it is unsettling, and I enjoy the character design of the snowman.
I went for the classic.
Yeah. Like Frosty's pissed.
Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, but ironically, maybe is it ironic that Snowmanton barely has any snow?
Yeah, their fucking streets are clear. But
meanwhile, their vehicles are encrusted with permafrost. Every vehicle... I don't know how that works.
Also, no one can get to their town because the roads are so bad. Snowmanton is its whole fairy tale land. I think we should really get into that as it's part of a simulation for sure. Like it is, and the FBI agent I think is a testament to that because he's the worst character in the entire movie. Dude, he's so bad. Manners. I'm sorry, Manners.
Agent Manners.
Agent
Manners in the
Manners.
sequel. Somehow.
He does return in the sequel. Yeah. Is that the same actor? Have we confirmed
No, he's not.
that? I didn't think it was. The jawline was too rigid on number 2.
The second actor for the second movie was a lot better looking.
Yeah,
a lot better actor.
He honestly was a better actor. You're not wrong.
The joke for 2 to explain why he looks different and how he's there is good. It's just good shit. Go ahead, Jeff.
Since he was maimed in the first one, so they had to reconstruct his face.
Right. Okay.
Based off him.
He must have top tier insurance. They reconstructed it better than it was before.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm the newest one here. I'm not a huge fan of campy horror films, and this is what I kind of wanted to get into as far as campy horror films go. I'm not a huge fan because it's always the same tropes. Like within 30 minutes of this movie starting, I knew exactly who was going to die, who was going to live. I knew everything, right? And so I started thinking about that. I was like, why do I not like campy horror films? I like being surprised. Like when it comes to horror, I like being like I like being unsettled. I like feeling I like feeling a relative sense of unease. I like all that. So when this movie, like I watched this movie, I knew who was going to die. I knew who was going to live, all that good stuff. I started thinking about like campy horror films in general and like them following these story tropes and all that shit. And I got into this whole thing in my head where it was like, campy horror films, I can see why they're so popular, why they're still made to this day. It's like if you gave 50 people the same coloring book and said, hey, color all these pages, they're all going to be slightly different, right? People are going to use different colors, but they're all the same picture. And so like I get that familiarity because like I'll watch The Office, NBC's The Office, nonstop. I fucking love that show. I'll watch it over and over and over again. So I like that familiarity. With horror movies, I don't like that, but I can see why that is fun for people. So if you like campy horror movies, this is probably fucking top notch. Because it does follow all those tropes, all those, story beats. It follows all that. And it does it in a really fun way.
That's what I think. When I think of campy horror movies, I think of fun. It's just I don't always want the gore and the death and like the feel the weight of a horror. Sometimes I like the campiness because I just like the horror and I like something unserious.
Right.
I don't call this top notch. It's no Toxic Avenger.
It's not.
It's no Class of Nukem High.
No.
It's there's so many good campy horror movies. Dead Alive.
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods is a lot of fun. I don't quite put that in the campy category for me.
Yeah, it's got more nuance.
Because there is a little meta commentary there. A dissection of horror tropes, so I don't think it quite goes into campy, but I like them because they're unserious, and sometimes I just want to chill and not give two shits about the movie, and just sometimes I like to root for the bad guy, and I can do that easier in a campy horror movie because it's kind of fun. Like, yeah, the sheriff is a little bit of a fucking prick. I don't care for the sheriff. I don't care for most of these characters. So actually, I want to see Jack Frost succeed on his murder rampage.
I will say, as a non-camp horror fan, this movie is just over 90 minutes, and you feel every fucking single one of them. Einstein's theory of relativity plays real hard in this movie because it's like it took me 3 hours to watch this movie because I kept pausing it to play Hearthstone. It was not my bag, but I do see the merits of the campiness of it. I think it was a lot of fun.
It's made up camp. It's not real camp.
It's weird. It's forced camp for sure.
It is forced camp.
Yeah, they're definitely
camp. The camp has to happen naturally.
It's fat camp. It's like they were forced to go here. It was fat camp.
If you look into the production and the behind the scenes pre-production here, this originally was supposed to be a big budget Terminator-esque movie. Big special effects, big budget, where like I'm trying to imagine like in a city, and this is where your movie is, but then the budget suddenly got slashed from here to here, and
is the budget in the room with us?
Michael Cooney.
Michael.
Yeah, the writer director Michael Cooney said, "You know what? We can't really do what we wanted to do with this kind of budget. We might as well lean into the camp and the horror a little bit, or the camp and the comedy." And they even lost resources because one of the things on the IMDb notes is they spent so much money for a company to to make models of the Jack Frost snowman, and they were supposed to produce multiple copies of this monster that they can do different things with. But instead, they only made one. They couldn't hardly fucking move it. And so it basically became a reverse Jaws situation where, hey, we can't really do what we want with the snowman, so we're going to have to Jaws it where you barely see the arm slide. And
is that why you just see the one arm like come up and then that kid gets fucking decapitated? If you guys, okay, I will say, if you guys ever want to be like, hey, those snow sleds with like for ice sledding with the blades on it, if you ever want to see somebody get their head cut off by one of those, this is your fucking movie, dog. All right, this is your fucking movie. Kill. That was the best kill. Jeff and I completely fucking agree that dipshit kid deserved to die.
He did.
Sure.
That was
it's
the best
just
kill.
Amazing. It is amazing to me that his friend, in 3 feet of one runway, was suddenly at 75 miles per hour to cut his head.
Now, okay,
this
so
the Chevy
Jeff,
Chase, the Chevy Chase aerosol that he sprayed on it at work again.
I have a question for Jeff. What was your least favorite kill?
Oh, I'm trying to think of all the kills now.
There's a lot. I have one in mind. Yeah, it's high kill count.
I would probably say the wasn't a big fan of the kid that was in their house, in the sheriff's house.
That's a good one. I felt really bad for the definitely emotionally abused housewife that got her fucking face slammed into the ornaments and fucking tied to the tree. I felt so bad for her because you knew that she was emotionally abused. She was submissive. Like, I felt so bad for her because she, at one point,
housewife.
Yeah, like at one point she sees the water and she's like, if I've told you, I just won't even say it. I'm just gonna deal. Like she goes and she's like, oh, he did something so nice for me. She didn't want to
get that fucking 5 knuckles across the face.
Right. I felt so bad for her. And then she died. Fun fact though, I do love how one of his deputies in the second movie, not to get off track here too much, his deputy from the second movie marries the receptionist. Because he's one of the people that lives from that or whatever. I thought that was hilarious. So, and I also knew that he was going to live from the get-go. I could tell just because he was so dumb. But Chris, how do you?
In the second one?
In the second one, yeah, the deputy that's dating
we don't know if they died or not. Did you watch the end?
No, but I watched the second one. I didn't watch the end of the second one.
Oh, see? Yeah.
He was alive in the second one.
He was alive in the second
so you
one.
Missed, you missed the twist. You missed the twist.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the twist yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But Chris, how do you feel about the camp of the first movie, at least?
It's
a little forced.
It's
a little fat camp.
The second one is funnier. The jokes are funnier.
Yeah.
All the jokes in this one you've seen before in better movies.
Yeah. It's very, speaking of Duke Nukem, it's very one-liner-esque, like, give you the one-liners, go on.
And the Duke, side note, the Duke Nukem one-liner you told us earlier about chewing bubblegum and kicking ass is from a horror movie.
Is it from Evil Dead 2?
No. It's from They Live.
Oh, okay.
Uttered by the one and only Roddy Piper.
Oh, nice.
So They Live. Dave drinks and loses glasses.
I almost died.
This actually looks like a movie.
It does
somehow, even though it's a low budget.
And Elizabeth from American Pie is in this movie.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I remembered the scene, but I did not remember it was her.
Yeah, movies.
I do not. That scene made me uncomfortable to watch. Her death scene. it was a little too gratuitous.
If Jack Frost is making you uncomfortable, you've got a long road.
I'm sure I do. I'm sure I do.
You've got a very long, dark road.
I'm sure I do, but that scene was so gratuitous. I did not make me uncomfortable.
Production note for you, Tim. So it was not written to mimic rape. It was just supposed to be a murder. But in hindsight, they said, "You know what this looks like, right?" And they decided, well, yeah, let's fucking lean into the rape of this movie.
Accidental rape. Oh, dang, you got me again.
Yeah, that made me so uncomfortable. I was like, oh fuck, I'm gonna have to stop watching this movie.
I was watching it and I remember clearly in my, because I talk about, I'm the nostalgia one, I feel like, of the four of us, because I'm like, do you remember when you saw this or rented it for the first time or all this bullshit? I do all of that for this. I have fond feelings of Day of the Dead and all these other movies. First time I ever watched them and rented them. I don't have that for this movie. I barely have certain memories for it, except for this scene. And I remembered it being very much more rapey than it actually is. Or better or worse. I don't know how to even continue off of that. But like, it shows the carrot, right? And you're like, but then almost immediately he's with her, and then you're like, well, of course. And then afterwards,
where's the carrot?
Yeah,
where's
and then he's at the end. He doesn't have it. He's getting his carrot, but yeah, they had to have known. There's no way.
He even says like, I hope it was good for you too, and like he like pulls out a smoke and starts smoking, and like it was a bit much for me. I get it was 1997, it was a different time, I get that. But like a bit much for me personally.
Rape was still not cool in 1997.
No, I'm sure. Yeah. It for sure wasn't.
Like, hey boys, what you doing Saturday night? Let's have me a little bit of rape.
I was 8 years old, so I don't know how cool or not it was, but
that 1996 or 97, to go back 25 years, what year was Last House on the Left? Or I Spit on Your Grave? We're gonna have to warm Tim way up before we ever.
Oh, I've seen I Spit on My Grave. I've seen those. Yeah, I know what's going down.
Those are like not even implied. Those are rough. So
at some point, Tim, you might want to choose a Serbian film for us to watch.
Serbian?
A Serbian film.
Oh.
I own it on Blu-ray, and I don't have the balls to watch it yet.
I've seen it. I'll tell you about it. I'll tell you about it later.
Yeah.
I'm not grown enough to be told about it, Chris.
Oh, you don't? You still don't know about it? You still don't know about it?
I actually do know what it's about. Okay, that's why I know I don't have the balls to watch it yet.
It's okay. Anyways, going back to Jack Frost.
Girlfriend's seen it, and she's like, "I will not watch it."
I don't blame her. There's certain like hardcore movies that Martyrs is one of my top 5 probably now. You guys can attest. Horror Hound. I'm like, give me your Martyr stuff, and they're like, we're out, weirdo. And I'm like, I'll kill you all.
Can we do a Basket part 2 now that we got Timmy?
If you
Jeff, did you do Baskin? Did Jeff do Baskin?
No.
They should do a Baskin by themselves. I'm not going back into I won't summon Baskin guy again. I can't. Dave.
What am I signing up for right now?
Baskin. We're summoning Baskin guy back. No. If we say Baskin guy like 7, 8 more times, he's going to be here.
It's worse than Beetlejuice.
I want to make one more production note and backtrack kind of to the start of the movie. We talked about no snow. For the longest time, I thought this movie was like, why didn't they just film in the winter? It actually was filmed in the winter during a drought. The temps were For the 18 days that it took to shoot this film, the temps averaged above 70 degrees, despite the fact that it was filmed solidly in January.
Interesting. So as far as production goes, my favorite scene, as far as production mistakes go, is the scene where you see the son mixing up the oatmeal. He has his hand firmly on top of the stove that he is apparently cooking on. It is touching the burner the entire fucking time. And I'm like, this kid should be screaming for his fucking life.
Wait, you thought that was a production mistake? That's the attention to detail. This kid is so fucking twisted, he doesn't even feel pain. He has no consciousness.
Yeah, he is a murderer for sure.
It's like,
Murder
sorry,
for
Dad,
sure.
you didn't your antifreeze oatmeal.
And the way he says, the way he pronounces antifreeze, I'm like, kill him, kill this child, right now. Run him
That
over
is
with
a-
car. What do we gotta do?
So, I love how. Okay, so we get through Act 1 of this movie, right? We introduce the characters. It's pretty obvious who's gonna die. Shannon Elizabeth, slutty chick who's trying to fuck the quarterback, she's gonna die. Quarterback, probably gonna die. Whatever.
No.
We get through that.
Now, you guys didn't like his death. You didn't like his kill.
I thought his kill was a little underwhelming.
I liked it because it was pretty juicy on the other side of the door.
Yeah,
I liked the juice.
juicy, but it was
I
like
like the juiciness.
he got shot in the shoulder and then the head. I did like, however, during that scene, how he shoots the icicle, and it seems like, oh shit, I can shoot icicles. This is cool. And like he does it again. Like he doesn't realize his powers yet. I liked that whole aspect of it. I thought that was cool.
He makes the baseball joke though, and it just comes out last field, and it's like,
Yeah,
Like the, you know.
doesn't know.
but I
That's
did
dumb.
like the whole like figuring out his abilities thing.
This
during
is
that
not a
scene.
good example. This is not a great example of camp. I had a lot more nostalgia for this, and then I watched it, and I'm like, that drug is worn off for this.
I
So,
remember the day that I rented it.
again. If it's on, I'll watch it.
Oh. At the time, I was gonna piggyback off Tim's watching Jack Frost. When I started to watch this movie on a site that will remain nameless, I click it and I start watching it, and I'm like, this stop motion is pretty great. It has no right to be this good, this stop motion. And then it goes on for a couple minutes, and I'm like, they're going real hard with this. I don't remember it quite this way. And then it took me a couple minutes before I'm like, is this the fucking... I don't think I've ever watched the stop motion Jack Frost. I saw Frosty and Rudolph and stuff. I don't think I ever watched Jack Frost. So watching this, I'm like... Because I remember there was something at the beginning, the like fairy tale-y kind of thing they have. So I'm watching this... I watched at least 3 minutes of 1979's Jack Frost before I was like, this isn't... I don't think this is right. And then... And yeah, so if you go to one of those random websites and click backup, that's not the right movie. I'm just saying.
What's the point?
Any, like, were there any effects in this that you guys liked? Like, I talked about the juiciness. That's probably my favorite thing. There were some blob kind of effects that were kind of okay. They took some inspiration from the blob going around the doors, but anything from you guys, effects-wise, that was cool? Or stood out,
I
or
like
anything?
some of the shots where you're looking up through the puddle and seeing what's going on. I thought those were kind of cool shots cinematically.
I liked when he got the antifreeze to the face initially, and like it melted him, and so like you had seen him get shot before this, and like just holes went right through him. When the antifreeze hit him, it like melted down and revealed all this like organ structure underneath the snow,
Yeah.
which I thought was really interesting. I liked that a lot. And then like that from the last the third act of the movie, that becomes his look, right? Like he's because they try to like push him into the furnace and like melt him. He comes back, which
Steam.
yeah, which the extension cord scene where they're like pushing him back with the different colored hair dryers and like you see this extension cord just like following them behind. It's like,
Yeah.
I get that like back in the 90s have been like, how are they doing this? Cordless isn't a thing. It's like, that's cool, but like me as a 2000s watcher, it's like I didn't need to know they used extension cord that just followed them as they went. That's I get it. They're using an extension cord. Got it. Move on.
Because they ripped the
As
hair
long as you
dryer
want.
out the first time, so they had to go show. Oh look,
Yeah.
we were smart this time and used the extension cord.
We used a power strip that has a 70-foot cord because those exist in X7.
It never stops.
It never stops.
I
We
feel
have
like the oven, the furnace was a lot hotter than the blow dryers and stuff. Like, why
Yeah.
is he scared of the blow dryers, but walks into this furnace that's on? It wasn't off. There's flames in there.
I like how it was definitely a real boiler that was like, toxic gas will escape this. Don't open this without a fucking like a correct person. Oh, speaking of which, I need to use the bathroom real quick. But the aerosol scene, we need to discuss the aerosol scene because it is.
Oh,
fucking
okay,
bananas.
yeah.
Yeah. Right back.
So Sam, God, who else? Manners. Who the fuck else? Which chick was it? One of the ladies was
So
in this
the
part. But
yeah
Nobody else mattered.
Maria that is the receptionist for the or dispatcher, whatever she does for the sheriff's office, who's in the second one.
they're getting
When
out
she
of there.
first came on screen, I actually thought it was what's her name, Adrienne Barbeau.
I did too.
I thought, oh, okay,
Kiss me.
I didn't realize Adrienne Barbeau was in this, and then
me.
that's because she's.
Fist me.
Oh,
Fist other way. Other fist.
Oh.
Yep, there we go. I did too. I looked it up because there was like never a great shot of her, and I'm like, this was so long ago. I can't remember. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. But it could have fooled me. You could, like, absolutely could. But the aerosol, they decide they're going to blow this place up. Jack's in the other room, and so they start. First off, they have easy access to tape that will hold these down. I'm calling bullshit. Whenever you need tape, there ain't tape. So first off, bullshit there.
It's a inverse proportion. The more you need the tape, the less likely you are to find it.
Exactly. And they needed a lot to hold this down, and I've never held down an aerosol can with tape. I don't think it would work as easy as they're leading us to believe.
I've never held one down with my finger for more than 10 seconds without thinking my finger was going to fall the fuck off.
Fire?
Yeah. Yeah, you hold that spray can down for like 30 seconds and you're like, oh, my fucking finger is about to fall the fuck off. I light my lighter and hold it on fire. Yeah, my thumb is on fire.
So we get through that ordeal of just setting them up. Now Sam has to run back to it to get his fucking keys because he's simple-minded. Going through all this, first off, 2 seconds into this cloud of everything, he's either so high he doesn't realize anything anymore, or two, he's dead.
Getting high as a motherfucker, high as a motherfucker.
Yeah, he don't make it to that hall. He don't make it to that door and back alive. He can maybe make it to the door alive, but he's gonna be tripping big balls by the time he gets to that door, and he ain't making it back. Let alone getting a dude out of the fucking cell, which is my favorite part of the sequence, because the old guy in the cell is like, "No, it's that one." I'm like,
Yeah,
shut the fuck up.
Unlock it with.
If I was Sam, I'd have reached in there and
is he
smacked him.
asleep, sound asleep? They don't know he's in the cell the entire time because they're yelling and all this kind of stuff. But no one knows he's there until they walk back. He's like, hey, get me out of here.
That's the only jump scare in the movie, by the way, is the fucking the hand coming out of the bars. It startled me.
From the hero of the movie.
He just had a little bit of guilt because the sheriff is crazy too. He was willing to. You're the only sheriff in the town. You didn't know somebody was in that jail cell. No, that was his blood sacrifice he was willing to make.
Yeah.
Until his guilt got him at the last minute. He's not quite as soulless as his child is, but almost. It comes from somewhere.
Yeah.
So after the aerosol scene, the fucking FBI agent, who is my least favorite character in this movie, opens up his trunk and has this armory, right? Me being the efficiency of violence guy, pause the movie. I'm like, I'm gonna see what every gun in this fucking
was it all fake bullshit?
He had a 38 Subnose, a 357, 44 Magnum. He had a Gatling gun in his trunk. It's hard to see,
like you do.
But it's fucking in there. It's like a snub-nosed Gatling gun, which, if you guys know anything about Gatling guns, they require battery power. So, don't know how he's going to use the Gatling gun, but pulls out a Desert Eagle with a flashlight attachment and a laser attachment on top. Very Lethal Weapon. Back when that movie came out, laser was on top. The not the weapon I would have chosen out of his arsenal there. Would not have chosen a ballistic weapon to deal with murderous snowman. But I do want to point out the axe kill. The reverse axe kill that's earlier in the movie, where he shoves it down his throat, but like you don't, it's shoved down like this. Should have come out of the back of his head as opposed to down his gullet. Maybe that's why he went with ballistic. I don't know. But it was a weird. Yeah, he's like, this seems like it was shoved in like real hard, like real supernatural strength on this one.
Almost like the wood turned to rubber and it bent halfway down the fucking.
I think the doctor's my favorite fucking character in this movie. Right. He was hilarious. How many house keys do you have for your back door, doctor? I just got the one. Me too. It's like the doctor is so good.
He is the best character.
He is phenomenal, but when they do the aerosol scene, they blow him up, and then he like fucking puts himself back together as a little midget snowman. Fucking hilarious. The one-liners in this movie are so good.
They're horrible. They're
the worst, but they're amazing. I really like that. Do we know if in the second movie, is it the same voice actor?
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah, I thought it is.
He didn't sound the same to me, so I assumed it was not the same Jack. You gotta find out. To the computers.
That's what people want to tune in for, is watching us type on our computers.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was.
Jack Frost is still voiced by Scott McDonald.
There you go.
Yep.
He must have did some big cocaine in between the movies, because I didn't recognize one.
The first movie, though. So, okay, I brought this up before we started the podcast. The fact that the sheriff, escaping the car with a killer snowman in the back, decides to grab his bag of oatmeal that his son made and shove it into his face. That, I will say, okay, I mentioned this before. This movie is 90 minutes long. I felt every minute That was one of the minutes that I felt the most. Why the fuck would you grab a bag of oatmeal to shove it in someone's face? Wouldn't that just soften the blow? Like, how do you guys feel about this course of action?
I don't know why he wasn't trying to get out of the car immediately was my big problem with that whole sequence. As soon as water started coming in, they're just like they're like bum fucking over each other, being like, "Get up out of the water!" It's like, get out of the car, you fucking stupid. I could be the sheriff of 4 of those towns at once, better than he was that one for one night.
Chris for Snowminton Sheriff. I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna get a T-shirt. Chris for Snowminton Sheriff.
Yeah. No more snowman.
Do it. That town is cursed.
Also,
got too much to live for.
In the sequel, Snowminton has an international airport. just let that sink in. This little log cabin town has an international airport.
It's a very sad looking airport.
Too. It is 100%. I'm pretty sure it's the Indianapolis airport.
Hey, don't talk shit on Indianapolis Airport.
Oh, Indianapolis Airport is phenomenal. 2 terminals, super easy to walk through. Great fucking airport. Atlanta Airport, by the way. Little side note here. I was at the Atlanta Airport in Georgia, probably close to 10 years ago. They changed my gate 3 times in 10 minutes. They have an underground tram that takes you from gate to gate. I had to fucking take this tram like 3 different times. And it ended up being the original gate they fucking put me at. It's the busiest airport in America, by the way, Atlanta Airport. But yeah, like me and my buddy I was with were 100% sure we're gonna miss our flight and have to drive back to Indiana from Georgia. So rough time. But yeah, Indianapolis Airport is great. Snowminton Airport, also great. But so how do you guys feel about the antifreeze being the detriment to Jack Frost?
Ain't no way that guy was pouring all those into the bed of that truck in 5 minutes.
That's what I told somebody at work. I was watching this movie. I was like, yeah, he poured 5 gallons into the bed of this truck and it was full. I don't know how the fuck it happened.
He wouldn't have got the fucking liner of that done in 5 minutes before he'd have got one. Yeah, that's what I say. That's what
You're not, that liner's not working anymore. That is not going to be waterproof.
Yeah.
I missed one part.
Antifreeze was the detriment, but it was funny. I dug it, but
and continued to be the detriment through the next one part ways.
Oh, okay.
They always wanted to make it known that antifreeze is like their little like snow, right?
Right. I dug that. I didn't. And again, I really liked the organs showing after you get the oatmeal to the face and you find out the son is actually the real killer of the entire movie. Like
his head pops out of one of the like fucking things and he's like, "Hi, Dad," and then the whole movie turns around and you're like, "Oh shit, this is kind of fucking crazy."
I like that.
And then he essays Shannon Elizabeth again, and you're like, "Get back in your hole, child." And he's like, "Okay, Dad."
Jesus Christ.
But then he comes back out and he's like, "It's implied, it's not real," and then gets back in.
When did American Pie come out?
A couple years after this. 2 years after this?
That was our first
99. Oh, okay.
Or 98 or 9? I wouldn't say 99.
So you can tell because this is pre-boob job.
I didn't pay that much attention to her boobs.
Probably because somebody scarred you for life, apparently.
Your wife. But yeah, no,
there is one thing that I wanted to talk about.
American Pie was 99.
Oh, okay.
99. So at one point in this movie, it takes a big turn. I don't know what you guys thought of this. So I'm trying to remember when exactly the moment was. It was a little bit later, and I want to say kind of before that big fight, the whole last big climax. It was real random. I don't know what it really had to do with the movie. It's like Mr. Clean, magic toilet foaming cleaner. Hold on. That was a Tubi ad. That's on me. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on.
I was
Never
thinking,
mind.
you got a dog in your house?
That was a Tubi ad. Sorry. Mr. Matt, that makes more sense that it's a Tubi ad. Okay, I understand what I was... It makes sense in the grand scheme of things. But, how did you feel about the actual horror of Jack Frost 1? Before we get done here.
I thought the kill scenes were fun. I really, like... I legitimately enjoyed the kill scenes. The pushing the wife into the ornaments and like they pulls her back and shows all of her fucked up face with all the glass.
That's an ornament.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the tree was already decorated. Why do they have a box of ornaments just sitting in front of the tree?
How many times her head go into those ornaments and he shakes it?
Yeah, it was funny.
Pulls it back up. Back in.
I dug that.
Back up. Fuck, shake it.
Yeah. But I thought the kill scenes were fun, with the exception of the Shannon Elizabeth scene. I thought they were fun. I thought they were a lot of good one-liners from the slasher. I thought that was really good. So overall, I enjoyed the kill scenes. It was everything in between that made me really feel that I was watching a movie. Which, I like to be transported. And I was transported into my own body and very self-aware of everything that was happening to me at the time when I was watching this movie. So,
there you go. Yeah.
I could feel my hair grow while I was watching this movie.
yeah.
Did anybody else get Blob vibes from this? Other than, I mean,
Blob?
obviously, the door. The way he would try to circumvent the doors. I'm like, Blob. I wish they'd have taken more from the Blob. Could have been interesting, but that would have maybe been more budget that they didn't have.
I still understand why, if he can turn liquid, why he can't reform his face after being splashed with the antifreeze. Like, he goes back down, but he comes back up and he's still maimed from the antifreeze. That was weird.
You got to get to the end somehow.
And move the storyline. We gotta hit this. I gotta start working on the sequel. I gotta start counting all my money. I gotta finish this film. I gotta count all my money.
I did like how they gave you a gotcha scene where the wife just has a burst pipe at one point.
Oh right.
It's not even the fucking snowman. They just kind of like throw you off, and like they do that whole thing. And I was like, oh, that's funny. Like
That's red herring.
Yeah, they give you a red herring scene. I like that. Chris, what did you think? What did you think of the horror?
It wasn't great. It just wasn't. I liked the Blob nods that they kind of had. I don't even know that they were nods, but I thought those were fun. Yeah. I think 2 had more creative ideas for kills, but didn't have the budget to pull them off that maybe this one did.
Yeah.
Felt like 2 had more nods to
Gremlins
and like maybe Critters.
Yeah.
Do we want to rate the first one before we discuss the second one in a little bit of detail?
Let's just get through the second one a little bit, because if anybody wants to rate the second one along with the first one, then go for it. I do have a rating for both of them, and Jeff influenced my rating a little bit because I realized the error of my ways. Jeff, I did finish it. I played a video game the entire time I watched it, but it was on my screen like right next to me. So, but I was there. I wasn't 100% there. So I can't.
100% there the entire time. You guys were like, oh my god, this movie's trash.
I would say the second one's better than the first one.
Not shot better. Not shot better.
Not shot better. I was mentioning this before the podcast started. You guys remember softcore porn on Cinemax back in the day? Thursdays, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, whatever it was. I don't know. 14 was a hell of a time to be alive.
What were you making him watch, Dave?
Yeah, Dave's
I had no
fault.
part in that.
But it was shot with the same fucking camera they used to shoot the Skinemax movies with. It was hilarious. So
it's not good.
No, I will the kills in the second one. Okay, mentioned this before. The sheriff becomes like a fumbling idiot. He was like pretty well in control in the first movie.
His wife becomes him by the end of the second one. She's in charge.
Yeah.
Which go girl.
For sure. Which girl power? Get it.
Even though this one has way more clearly Jack Frost playing with the ladies without their knowledge.
Yeah.
Way more into.
Yeah. The co-eds get killed in spectacular manner. Which is hilarious. That was my favorite scene, was the co-eds. It makes me feel bad, but it was fucking hilarious. But yeah,
you're coming around now. You're coming around.
Yeah, the fucking the co-ed scene was hilarious.
I like him out with icicles, and then he's like, "Oh, screw it," and just turns into
dude. I was telling Chris, I fucking love that when he turns into a fucking anvil and just crushes her. Dude, made me laugh so hard.
I'm out of practice. Funny. Jeff, I was telling them before we started, when the little baby snowmen start to show up, the one is like, Dada. They didn't make it this far, so I had to like tell them.
Oh.
But this was my favorite kill, where it's like does the icicle, it goes into the guy's eye, but then the Marsha, whatever her name is, the receptionist, hits him with the skillet or whatever the hell it was, and like finishes it off. I'm like, that's my favorite kill of both movies, because like maybe he would have lived. He could have maybe lived through that little like fucking piece of shit, like jamming in his eye a little bit. Oh no, you got to get a new eye. Oh god, but new eye dead. New eye dead. I don't know.
So the sheriff is a maniac. His kid is a maniac. His receptionist. Maybe Snowmanton is just full of maniacs.
Listen, and that's why I will work for you, Snowmanton. I will do what needs to be done. I'll make the hard choices.
Chris
and I'll get done what needs to be done.
Chris for sheriff.
Jack
and
Frost
I won't once salute Hitler while I do it.
Oh shit. Well,
so, that's pretty easy. That's pretty easy, honestly.
Lost my vote.
I did it real fast that time.
Nobody on Twitter's vote for you.
No. Dave, this was anybody final thoughts? Jack Frost 2, Jack Frost 1, anybody before we rate one of them, both of them, whatever you want to do. I don't care.
I technically watched all of it. I'm not the Iron Man Jeff is. I was just past the photo shoot and cameraman murder. Turned it on tonight, let it play. I was in the room, but I paid absolutely zero attention to it. But when I first started watching it, and then it cuts and the guys are in the raft, and I thought it had switched to like a fucking like insurance commercial or something. Like, don't get
Doug Jones.
Yeah, buy your travel.
Oh, was that Doug Jones? The raft?
Yeah. The guy who died last on the raft, that was Doug Jones. I was like, Doug
Really?
Jones is in this movie? Oh my god!
I did not recognize him, and then forgot to look for him. Oh shit! That's why I started the movie again. Was like, where's Doug Jones? And then I just. Anyways. Anybody else? Final words. Final words before we get to your overall opinion.
I like the camp. I think it's fun. It is
Tim's a B-movie fan now.
Yeah, it is a hard fucking transition from the acting to the camp to the acting to the camp. This is not my horror film, but I did enjoy the camp.
The acting was trying to be too serious during the acting parts.
Yeah.
But they're not good actors.
No,
And then the camp was kind of funny, but not really because they're not good joke writers.
Yeah.
Right.
So
We never brought this up. This is my last thing. So, what's his name? Christopher Allport, who played Sam, the Sheriff Sam. Did you guys know that he passed away in 2008?
No.
yes.
Do you
Yes.
know how he passed away?
No.
I do.
Antifreeze.
I do.
An avalanche.
Oh, shit.
I don't want to make some fun of somebody's death, but can somebody start that Alanis Morissette song for us in the background? Because, don't you think?
Isn't it ironic? Don't you think?
It's like rain.
You
On
killed the
your wedding
snowman
day.
in the movie.
I'm
And he
like,
got his
died
name.
to avalanche. I'm like, you are fucking joking. There's no way, but I guess there is way. It's real unfortunate. I didn't mind his acting. I thought he was fine.
He was fine.
I thought the actor who played the Scott McDonald who did Jack Frost.
You don't know me, but I'm your brother.
I thought, I thought he was, a little Tom McDonald. But I thought he was okay. And when he's a human at the very start of the movie, like there's a intensity to him. Like
He's unsettling. He's unsettling
him,
for sure.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want to see
Yeah.
that.
It reminded me of Wishmaster a little bit. Like
He does have that weird,
that sort of like stone
proportion.
face, sort of like
Cheeks.
scariness to him. For
Got big
sure.
cheeks.
I thought at the beginning, like, it seemed so fake, scary, but when they were going back and they were showing, like, scenes from, like, him being arrested, I'm gonna kill you, and, like, that seemed more unsettling.
By
Yeah,
the way,
weird.
speaking of the beginning, Jeff mentioned, why did the fucking guard suddenly have, like, garland around his neck? Where the fuck did that come from? He suddenly had Christmas decorations around his neck? What the fuck happened?
It was his emergency stash, Tim.
I rewatched the beginning. I was like, where the fuck did this garland come from? It came out of fucking nowhere.
I have one more problem with this movie that you just reminded me of. All of us living in Indiana have driven in inclement weather a good few times. Dave, probably a lot. Harsher conditions. But when it's real bad...
Tim started at the age of 14.
Do you ever
That's
want
sorry.
somebody... Right, Tim, lean in for me. Lean in. Other way. Okay, here's... And this is our window, and I'm like, oh, shit! And Tim, you gotta, like, really be backseat driving over my shoulder.
He's driving like this. How do you
And a lot of the shaking of the... There's no... Yeah.
How do you
Over
drive
the
like this?
In the window. Like, why are they both shoved up in the window? Like,
Yeah.
Somebody gets over my
Dude.
shoulder in fine weather, I'm like, please don't do this.
He's standing and driving at the same time. Pedals don't work that way.
That's
Fun
why.
fact.
That's why you're supposed to clear all of your window off, people.
The first time I ever drove a long distance, I was 14, and Dave had me drive in the fucking snow for 45 minutes.
30.
And I'm a great driver. Columbus, North Vernon is 45, dog. Don't church in the snow. 45.
Oh, in the snow.
It was snowing. It was
Yeah.
snowing. We were going to Coe's.
Yep, we were taking Taekwondo lessons, and then we drove back, and I was going 20 miles an hour in a 45, and there was a semi behind us flashing his lights, and Dave was like, you drive however you want to drive.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him.
Yeah. So I drove 20 miles an hour.
I stand by that advice.
Yeah, no, I use it often with my wife, because my wife has to drive. Like, you drive how you want to drive. Don't worry about anyone else.
Yeah, sometimes like that's good life advice. Like not all the time. If you follow this all the time, you probably are getting nothing accomplished. But sometimes you just gotta say fuck it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. All right.
We didn't even talk about how they defeated Jack Frost in the second one.
Bananas.
I don't know how they defeated him.
I didn't see it.
Bananas.
Bananas?
Bananas?
Yeah. So they explain away that why Jack Frost can apparently find the sheriff and all that kind of stuff because he had bled in the antifreeze when they were fighting the first one. So apparently he has a banana allergy. So that transferred from his blood into Jack Frost.
That's how allergies
And then
work.
that's how they started killing off the little baby Frosts. And then that's how they defeat Jack Frost at the end. They shoot him with the banana.
Nice.
With an arrow.
I will absolutely, based on what you guys have told me, be finishing this movie.
Yeah, I have 30 minutes left. I will finish the movie. For sure.
The second one is camp. The first one was just trying to be camp. The second one was
If the second one had the same budget as the first one, I'd give it way more ratings points. But it dropped off so hard quality wise. But the kills were creative. The comedy was more funny.
Super good.
But let's rate this. Dave, this was your movie this week. Jeff, let's start with you. We'll go Tim, me, then we'll hit Dave at the end to round us off and give us an average. Jeff, give us your overall rating and opinion.
Rating down. I will not be influenced.
A Man of Stone.
Just going by the first one, like it was just bad. It was trying to be something it wasn't. They really could have done a lot of different things since they didn't have the budget. It was just forced, I feel like. So like the first one, it's a 2. It's horrible. It was hard to get through. I got interrupted so many times and had to like keep watching it like the next day just to get through it. The second one I felt was a lot better. It had the camp. It was more ridiculous, so I felt like that's why the camp was probably a lot better because they leave their child, which they didn't even show in the second. They're like, oh, we're gonna leave him here. We're gonna go to a tropical island on Christmas, not even spend it with their kid.
Fuck you.
He's trying to murder his dad. He doesn't deserve Christmas.
Yeah.
Hold on. Worse than that, he said anti-freeze. He don't belong here.
Child's a murderer, for sure.
He don't belong here. Go on, Jeff.
The second one I would give a 4, but
okay. There you have it. Tim, what's your overall and your rating?
Again, I understand the camp for what it is, so I appreciate it. I wouldn't say that I'm a horror aficionado, but I did appreciate the camp.
That's you.
Indeed, but I enjoyed it because like I was watching it, I saw it for what it was. I was like, okay, these people are gonna die, these people are gonna live. We're good. I'd give the first one a solid 4. Like, it wasn't like Jason versus Freddy, like camp. Because I don't like Jason versus Freddy all that much, but it was campy, right? So like, that's like your midline for like what camp movies should be. It wasn't as good as that, but yeah, I enjoyed it. The second one I haven't finished yet, so I can't give it a full rating. But the kills that it has are way funnier. The dialogue is way funnier. The sheriff being a fucking bumbling idiot is way funnier because he's under so much PTSD. I'd give it a 5. So I'd give it a slightly higher rating because it is funnier. And I think that it leans into the funny more than the first movie did. First movie was like, the snowman's funny, but everyone else is super serious. And like the second movie is like, everyone's a little bit funny. Let's have some fun with it. So yeah, 4 and 5.
4 and 5. All right, Dave, how you feeling about these numbers so far? We're halfway through. Is this what you expected? Are you?
They are numbers. We'll see. I'll give my rating. I've not been swayed.
All right. For me, it's goofy and it's fun enough. The first one, there is Shannon Elizabeth, but it's pre-American Pie, Shannon Elizabeth, and 1 star off for that because some of the effects are some of them are all right. There is some wetness in some of the effects, which we're big fans of in the horror house. If you don't make your effects wet, what are we here for? Why am I holding my wrist like that? Like I can't hold it up on its own. I swear to God, I can't. I swear to God, I can. But the acting overall is not bad for the quality of what they're doing. But then the comedy's not great. But it's nothing you've never seen before comedy-wise. It just, you know what this movie feels like to me, and I don't know that it's not. I don't know that it is. This feels like a Transmorphers. Like they knew the Michael Keaton movie was coming out the next year. They're like, we need to get something out ahead of this. Make a fucking here's $40. Go make your movie.
Go get grandma a pack of cigarettes and make a movie with the leftover.
Yeah. So was this a pre-Transmorphers? I would tend to think maybe so. At least a little bit. So I don't know, man. I'd give this a 3. And like I talked about nostalgia earlier, like I remember renting this the moment I rented it and watching it the first time, but I don't remember much details of the movie because I don't have a big nostalgia feeling for the movie itself. Really just the VHS place I rented it from. So I think 2 is funnier. I think the kills are better, but they're not done better. But if they'd had that budget from the first one, they could have been. But it is shot like a fucking straight fucking porno from 1996. And it lost all of its cinematography. It barely looks like a movie. It's rough to watch. But if you can get past that, it's, I think, a little better movie. Jeff, when you first said that, I was like, better than the first one? I'm like 20 minutes into this and I'm ready to poke my eyes out with a fucking carrot. But still, that said, I'm gonna go the first one a 3. I'm gonna give Jack Frost a 3.1 because I didn't give it my full attention. So they're still pretty similar. The downgrade in quality really hurts it. But the other parts of it lift it up. Dave, how do you feel?
So, the dialogue is pretty bad. The writing for the dialogue. You got the one-liners. I'm a huge fan of good one-liners. It's the best thing about Arnold Schwarzenegger movies from the 80s. The Commando is great. Predator is great because Arnie is fucking great. But the rest of the dialogue is not there. This is camp, and I really have a good soft spot for camp. But production quality wise, this is 1997. We should see so much better stuff in 1997. This what year was like Idle Hands? We did Idle Hands.
98 or 99.
Yes, and look at the obviously budget, but even the first one to Idle Hands, like clearly Idle Hands has a better budget. They didn't do much with the budget. The reason we don't get much shots of the snowman and we jaws up the snowman was serendipity, and I guess in a way that's the reason why the shark from Jaws ended up the way shark with Jaws ended up, not because it was planned that way, because they had to do it that way.
Yeah.
But It's not. This is not great. This is not pinnacle camp, but it is campy, even if they fail in a lot of spaces. I gave it a 5, and not making it through the second one, I will rate what I've seen the next day after watching the second one. What the first part of the second one that I watched on the way to work, I enthusiastically told Stella about the guys in the raft and the fact that I didn't even realize it was part of the movie at first. I thought it was fucking add-on awesome. And the girls on the beach, that's where I ended after the first part that I watched. And I was enthusiastic about those kills, even though they're low budget, even though the effect is the practicality, the pulling off of that effect was not great. I still enjoyed them. So I'm only halfway through. It'll probably raise. I'm going to finish it, especially listening to you guys talk about it. I expect that my rating for the second one would rise after I watched it. But I gave the second one at this moment, I gave it a 5. As
I don't know how to spell that shit, Dave. Was that an A?
I gave it a 5 as well.
Another 5.
So,
all right. All
our
right.
averages, the average for the first movie, our average score is a 3.5.
Seems accurate.
And for this second movie, the average score, thanks to Chris going from a 3 to a 3.1, really bumped it up.
Do what I can.
The second movie, we are at a 4.3.
0.3. These are some odd numbers. I like it. I'm not putting the here's our ratings for Jack Frost 1. If you want ratings for Jack Frost 2, just rewind it.
Do your own homework.
Yeah, Jeff, you are Dave Shirt, but you are the lowest rating of the week. And Tim is raising the roof for you. Freddie is laughing at you. And Dave, your camera's a little off center. Let me lift you up here, but you are the highest rating of the week.
2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row.
I'm sure that won't be the only 2 weeks. I'm not attempting to get there. It's just natural.
Yeah. Tim is, I think, the exact same as last week. I think you gave, what did we do last week? It was a 4.
Last week was Unwelcome. No, that is not wrong. Tim gave Unwelcome a 5.
Oh, my bad.
It was very even the road.
He's
fun,
going lower.
Fun horror movie.
Getting lower. Come down to mine and Jeff's level. Come to the basement.
I'm very much a fucking. I see it for what it is. I appreciate it for what it is, but yeah. No, the
2, 3,
I haven't
4,
watched
5
2 yet.
We're going in a.
When are the Chuddies?
Next week. Next week are the Chuddies. All right, we're gone. What is this?
I don't know.
Everybody join in.
Do what I'm doing. It's
Until
fun.
we meet
Yeah.
again. Goodbye.